For Josh, I mean, you're a racer, so no matter what you do, you are naturally an ambassador for everything. You're an ambassador for Mark Thomas, for iRacing, for Junior Motorsports. So now that you're now that you're in your 30s, by the way, happy birthday. Have you started to think about your career in terms of being an ambassador for short track racing and late model stock racing, and what is the responsibility that comes with being that? And have you ever thought about your place in the discipline's history now that you are a cars champion, a NASCAR champion, a multiple time track champion, and everything that comes with that?
I think that's something that I'm learning as I go more and more, especially, I feel like this week, doing all these interviews and sitting down with Dale and talking about our success together. It's really starting to hit me, the amount of things that we've done. And, I love short track racing. I love late model racing. And I've truly enjoyed my time doing it. So, as I grow older, I'm realizing that, it's, like I said, it's something that I'm getting used to, as I'm adjusting to being the top guy, I guess, as everybody keeps saying, so it's been so much fun. And I'm just so thankful to have the partners that we do and to be able to race like we do. And this national championship deal has been amazing to accomplish, and how we got here has just been truly amazing. It's just so thankful to be a part of it. And hopefully we can keep doing it for many more years.
Thanks, Josh.
Good deal.
Thank you, Matt.
Josh, thank you so much for joining us, and tell Moody we said hi, and go enjoy your birthday.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, Dale.
I'll see you on Moody, Josh.
Okay.
And jumping into Dale, you were asked earlier about short track guys getting more opportunities to make it towards national touring, the opportunities you've tried to give Josh in the past as well. But let me kind of flip that around on you a little bit. Obviously, the racing economy isn't what it was when I was growing up, when you were short track racing. But how can we as an industry create more career short track stars where more guys can have the opportunities like Josh has, like a Bubba Pollard has, create our generations, Mike Eddies, Dick Trickles, or Jody Ridleys? Do we have that capacity? Can we do that moving forward?
I think so. There's a lot of things that need to happen, and people need to be honest with themselves about what made those guys so memorable. First off, we all, I think NASCAR, our network partners, all need to be aware of the responsibility to recognize and celebrate the weekly regional series success stories. And, the K&N series and ARCA series is not grassroots. I'm sorry. So I feel like that there's a responsibility there to celebrate, what's happening at all these small racetracks across the country. And there's been some efforts by NBC to do that. I've seen, I can say that because I've seen that, but when I was racing in the weekly series in the 90s, all the racetracks had the red and white paint. There was a bridge, a connection, a tie. You were tethered to the upper NASCAR series through a relationship of sponsorship with Winston and support from NASCAR, the sanctioning body. There just felt like there was a lifeline and a tether that has somewhat been broken. And, we need to establish that. And that's only one of many things that need to be done to be able to elevate the names of these drivers, to create that name recognition, which then in turn opens up the opportunities for them when the rides are available. A driver like Denny Hamlin, who was plucked out of the late model series ranks by Joe Gibbs, that is all still very possible. I just had Chase Briscoe on the podcast this week, and his story is so similar in how he created his own opportunities to get to where he is. And so that path still exists, but I don't know that we know the names. I don't know that we know who those drivers are. I don't know that if there's a Josh Berry out there winning 26 races a year in a regional weekly series, I don't know him. And I think that we could do a better job. I know you work hard. This isn't nothing personal, but I know, and I know what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to, but I think that we as an industry could do a better job to elevate who these people are. Who is that Denny Hamlin that's winning all these races somewhere that we need to know about? And that's probably the disconnect, I think, right now. And that's only one of I'm sure if we sit here and brainstorm, we could come up with a lot of things that need to be better to create that path and that avenue for these drivers to get those chances and opportunities. But if there's a hot shoe talent out there, there is an owner that wants him. I just don't know that we know who that hot shoe talent is until. Go ahead.
No. So to your point, I actually, my next question plays into that perfectly. No disrespect to anyone in NASCAR, because I think there are very smart people at NASCAR from national touring down to regional. One thing that I think has changed over the last 15 to 20 years is we as an industry lost Jim Hunter. And Jim Hunter was the perfect bridge between national touring and short track racing because he was so deeply ingrained into both of those communities. Do you think there is someone in NASCAR now who can fill that role, or do you think NASCAR should pursue trying to create a role to serve as that bridge?
I think there are guys in NASCAR in the office that have worked in that weekly series division. Brandon Thompson and a few other guys that know what that series or that level means. They know they've lived it. And I think that person will eventually get to a position in the industry to be able to bridge, to create, to tether us back together to our local grassroots racing and our racetracks across the country. It definitely needs to be a little bit of a stronger bond, and there needs to be a little bit more back and forth in support of the racetracks and promoters, and therefore the competitors at these racetracks across the country. And I think those are the individuals that can make that happen are there. I think that they're in the NASCAR bubble as we speak.
So I'm glad you brought up ARCA and the old K&N series, because one question I had for you is that ARCA is now a development series by every sense of the word. I don't think it's no longer the series that housed Frank Kimmel or Josh Williams a couple of years ago, Grant Enfinger, which is fine. There's a place for ARCA as it is now. But I think back to when I was a kid, NASCAR operated All Pro. They bought it in the mid 90s and operated it for a couple of years. Do you think there's room for NASCAR to explore doing a late model tour kind of in the same fashion as the old All Pro series?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know about that. My focus always goes back to the individual racetracks, the I-95 Florence Motor Speedways, the Fairground in Nashville, South Boston, all these little tracks that I know by name, and there's even more across the country that I don't know, and supporting the tracks themselves and their car counts and what they mean to their individual communities and the drivers and competitors that race there, elevating the national champion, the spotlight that creates, the drivers that are a part of that race for that title. And obviously Josh is going to get a lot of recognition from this year, but beyond that, I think that we could do a lot to celebrate who all was part of that process and who are the drivers that are competing for that national title. The newsletter used to go out and you'd read the newsletter about the Mid-Atlantic region champion and who won, who was in that battle and who was racing for the Northeastern region championship and who was up there, up in the Northeast racing for their title, how all that culminated to a national champion. It seemed like that information was a little bit more readily available in the past than it is today. Or at least there was more interest in knowing those individuals and knowing about that process back when I raced. I don't know if it's because I lived it or not, but you know, I don't know if we need a touring series of late models or super late models. I believe there's a lot of those that already exist that sort of fill that void. They don't have to be NASCAR sanctioned or NASCAR operated, but you know, I do think that we need to make sure these tracks are healthy, and NASCAR can play a big role in that, and also shining a spotlight and allowing the tracks to shine spotlights on their competitors.
And last one for you, kind of on a similar note. The regional promoters that run Cars Tour, Southern Super Series, the CRA, and the Southwest Tour, they're working on a national championship. They're going to take two of their most important races from each of their regional tours and put that towards a national championship. So the national guys, the Ty Majeski, Bubba Pollard, Stephen Nasse, can still do a national championship. Is that something that you think the industry would welcome with open arms?
I don't see how that could be a bad thing. You know, it's kind of you know, I don't see how that could be a bad thing. Anything to bring a little more attention to those drivers and the series. The car series is a great series, and we've been a big part of it over the last several years, and hope to continue our participation in the car series in the future. But you know, I think it'd be interesting to try to figure out a way to do that. I just would love to see them go race at more racetracks. I'd love the Cars Tour to go to Florida and New Smyrna, and I'd love to find a way for us to blow up that speed weeks and include a late model stock portion of the Snowball Derby. And I don't know, you know, there's a lot of things that'd be cool to see happen. But I don't think anything like that's a bad thing. All that, it bring more notoriety to those drivers and give them, you know, a bigger spotlight for sure.
That's all I got for you, Dale. I appreciate the time. Thank you for the invite, Matt. Good talking to y'all.
Thank you, man. Good to talk to you, Matt.
Likewise.
Appreciate you, Matt.